In my keyboard control and scenes video, I showed you how to use scenes to change the parts which receive keyboard control. I also mentioned that scenes can control several other parameters, but when doing that, I often see scenes that are set up incorrectly with unexpected results. I'm going to show you why that is and how to work around it. In this performance, I have a Rhodes piano and a pad. And I'm going to set it so that in scene 1 I have just the piano, and in scene 2 I bring in the pad. So let's do that now. We'll set scene 1 to have keyboard control enabled, and the same for scene 2. I'm in scene 2, but nothing's been stored yet, so let's turn on keyboard control for the pad and store that to scene 2. Now I should be able to switch to scene 1 and get just the piano, and switch to scene 2 and get the pad too. But now let's add another scene and start to do something a bit more in depth. So we'll go back to scene, pick up scene 3 and turn on keyboard control for that, but also let's affect the amplitude envelope generator, AEG. Let's come out of there, and I'm going to solo the pad quickly and change it so it has a very short attack. And then we'll store that to scene 3. Now what you might be expecting at this point is that as I switch between the scenes, I should see the first scene will have just the piano. It does. Second scene should bring in the pad. But you should hear immediately that the pad has got that short attack modification, which I was expecting to only happen in scene 3. The reason for that is that when scene 3 modified the attack, decay, sustain and release envelope for that part, the previous 2 scenes didn't have settings to undo the changes. So let's go and fix that now. We need to go into scene 1 and turn on AEG switching for that scene as well. Let's come out of here and go and edit the envelope. Let's do that manually and store that to scene 1, and then scene 2 will pick up those settings because it doesn't have anything stored yet, so we'll store that too. And now when I switch between the scenes, you can see that attack amount being changed. So let's hear it. Scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. Let's show that again with another parameter. Let's go into scene, and in scene 4 I'm going to include mixing. So let's come to here, and in scene 4 I'm going to reduce the volume of the pad. So let's bring that down to maybe here and hear that, and store that to scene 4. But once again, what you're going to see is that as we switch to the other scenes, they have also picked up that adjusted volume. Why is that? Well, again, it's because those scenes do not have the mixing control enabled, so they don't reset. So let's turn on mixing for scene 1 and 2 and 3 and go and fix them up. So scene 1, we need, I think that was 71. Store that to scene 1. Scene 2, let's do this with the slider this time. Store that to scene 2, and scene 3, we'll do it like that and store there. Now, when we switch between the scenes, we should have just the piano, piano and pad, piano and short attack pad, oh, we didn't store that. Let's go and see why that is, and I bet it's what I bet I just forgot to switch on the AEG for scene 2. There we are. That's exactly the problem that we're looking at. We'll turn on AEG for scene 2 and go and reset that. So we'll have that, change the attack to 0, store it to scene 2, and let's try that again. Scene 1, piano only, scene 2, piano and pad, scene 3, piano and short attack pad, and scene 4, reduce the volume. So, the moral of the story here is that if you have scenes that make changes to any of these switches and you expect your other scenes to be able to undo those changes, then all scenes must include those switches.